Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Wednesday, the 13th of October. Um, this bodes well for the week that I'm up early enough to do this before everybody in the house is up 2 days in a row. Good job. This morning, I'd like to talk about something I learned about on Thanksgiving Day. And Thanksgiving Day, October 11th, was the International Day of the Girl. And I think I was aware of it, but never really paid that much attention to it before. But on Monday, being Thanksgiving, and we had a few people who are sort of in our bubble over for Thanksgiving, but they're all men. I got thinking about women and girls and how traditionally the traditional roles of women, as I didn't cook the meal, Rob did, and things like that. And I really was paying attention to the news and listening to things like Afghanistan and how far they came trying so hard to get women's education again because they've had it before. And now they're right back to where they were before 2000. They're right back to women being arrested and detained and disappearing because they are speaking out for women's rights. Girls are more and more unable to get education, and it's not getting better. And it was really coming to me that how much of our whole world, like the millions of people they said on the news, millions and millions of girls, like into the hundreds of millions of girls who are not able to get education. And how many girls then are not able to get basic female health care? How many girls are not able to have the things that so many of us take advantage, like pads and tampons, feminine hygiene products? And it just seems so ridiculous that there's so much out there that is unfair for women. And I got looking, I found this on my desk, my passport, and I've got a couple of stamps in it. I've been to Scotland twice and been to England by accident once and been to the States a lot. They don't stamp it for that. But got thinking, I'm a female, I'm a woman. I have the right to travel. As long as it's not COVID times, I have the right to travel and believe that as long as I choose where I go wisely, I will travel unmolested, that I won't be questioned. I have the right in the Anglican Church to be a priest. Now, given, even in Canada, not all denominations recognize the role of women and allow them the right. And so we've got work to do here in Canada as well. But I really got thinking about the things that we women and all Canadians, male and female, and all the different understandings of who we are, transgendered and binary and non-binary and all of these things. We really do take for granted here, I think, the fact that there are women and girls and people around the world who cannot be who they believe themselves to be simply because of what their bodies look like. How sad is that? And Rob and I got talking about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and the real push to encourage children, young girls, to get into these areas. And all too often, the push is at university level. But what happened? How do you get there? If you're a young woman who has a keen mind and an engineer's heart, but you're not encouraged in public school, like in elementary school, to pursue those things simply because of the way the curriculum is laid out or the way we talk to children or the stereotypical ideas we still have about children and girls in particular. How do they know they can become engineers? How do they know they can become astronauts? Yes, there are a few out there, but look how hard they've had to work to overcome the stereotypes. And our world, at least the Western world, is waking up to that and realizing that we need to teach our young women, our young girls, about science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM topics. There are so many, many young women who have intelligent, keen minds and the ability to think mathematically and to do things that the average one of us would never even like think about. I'm reading a book based on one of the women from Hidden Figures, the people, the women behind flights into space and landing a man on the moon. Landing a man on the moon. These were women. Some of them were women who had no opportunities, who had no chances, and yet their brilliance was so beyond anything else around them that they were able to scrabble up and get work at NASA and do the work of helping our world change completely. What would happen if every child, when their mom or dad or their aunt or whoever it was packed off packed their lunch and popped it in their backpack and wished them their first day of all day school in grade 1, what would happen if every parent and every teacher and every role model and every influence said to every one of those girls, you can do this. You could be the Prime Minister of Canada. You could be the President of the United States. You could be the first woman. You could be the first person on Mars. You could be a teacher. You could be a doctor. You could find the cure for cancer. You could be the person who discovers the best way to save people from a collapsed mine, or to predict tsunamis and find ways to keep people from being killed. You could be the person that finds the key to, to ending climate change, or you could be the person who is the politician who stands up and leads the charge to do just that. What would happen if we empowered our girls? Quite often, I've heard the argument that, there's no International Day for Men, or there's no, we're not allowed to have men's clubs anymore, so why are we pushing forward this thing about women? I get it. I understand. I do. But at the same time, when we look around the world and see the statistics that say that women are subjugated, women are forced into marriage at early, like even preteen years, women are not given the medical treatments that they need, women are not allowed to be educated or to educate others. Yeah, we're not there yet. Our North American or Western centered ideals are only good if they are ideals that we're willing to work for everyone else. But when we get so caught up in our own stuff and we think, you know what, we have that here, so that's just the norm and we don't have to fight for that. We don't need an international day for women, or an official day for coming out or anything like that. We don't need those things. We're cool. We're hip. We get it here in North America. Well, no, we don't. There's too many women who cannot answer the call of God to become a priest. And I am not yet convinced, obviously, that God said no in the first place. There are too many women who are still encouraged to become nurses instead of doctors. At the same time, we discourage men who have compassionate hearts and gentle hands from becoming nurses because it's not masculine enough. That's hooey. Each person on this planet, every person that has ever taken a breath, has been given gifts and abilities and desires and passions that God planted in them, that were right in their DNA the moment they were conceived. Who are we to say to them, because you were born in Afghanistan or Uganda or Nigeria or Mexico or Guatemala, that you haven't got the right to pursue the very things that God said, go and do? We need to work as a society, as a privileged Western society, at helping people at home, our Indigenous girls and women, our Indigenous boys and men. We need to help them here understand that they have just as much right and should have just as much access to the very things that the rest of us take for granted. And then when we've been working away at that at home, we need to recognize we need to do it in the world. There is no reason why your gender should dictate who gets to say what happens to your body, or who gets to tell you whether or not you can be educated. or whether or not you can travel, or whether or not you can have children, or whether or not you can choose not to have children. We live in a beautiful, beautiful country with many rights and freedoms, but with many responsibilities as well. And we need to acknowledge those responsibilities, and we need to start learning how to share and advocate that others would have the opportunity to exercise those responsibilities as well, both here and abroad. Just some thoughts for today, thinking about the International Day of the Girl. And you know what? If more girls had their hands in STEM stuff like science, technology, engineering, and math, they'd probably have a lot of fun. We'd probably have even more inventions and breakthroughs in science and technology and math and engineering and, vaccines and things like that. We just have to let them loose. Let's give girls the opportunity and see what happens. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael.